Hi all, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Let's start rebooting work using Uipath. In today's session, we are going to discuss about get transaction data. So basically, get transaction data is used to get the transaction item from the queue. Okay, so if there is no new item from the queue, then it will marked as a no data and it will end the process. If it does not, if it has some values in the queue, okay, new items are from in the queue, then it will be marked as a new transaction and it will go to the process transaction and it will do the manipulation and calculation, and based upon the results, so it will be marked as successful or a business exception. So if you are facing an application exception, so which is like Windows application issues or like Chrome unable to open the Chrome, during those phase it will be marked as a application exception. Likewise, this cycle will be keep on repeating until unless the get transaction mark there is no data in the queue, so it will not move to the no data state. So if it does not have any data, it will go to the no data state. Let me quickly jump back to the UiPath Studio. So initially we have designed initialization state. What actually we have done in this? So we have we have configured the config file, and then we have made a get app credentials, and then we have used the kill activities and init all application. So these are the settings. Till now we have done it, right? So let me go to the config file. So in get transaction data, we are going to use the queue concept, correct? So what actually we have to do? So in dispatcher, we have created some queue, right? So along with the queue name. So what we have to do? We have to place that queue name in the settings under this. Okay. So there they have a default. They have kept some dummy values, which is process ABCQ initially itself. So what you can do? So instead of this, you can place your real queue name over there. So just let me load the Uipath orchestrator. Just go here, open a new tab. Just click. I have already made a bookmark. My UiPath service is loaded. Let me open the orchestrator over here. And one more thing need to discuss. So you have to be aware like how the transaction item is been working. So if you're not aware about those stuffs, kindly go to my queue playlist and go and watch those things, so that you'll be have ideas about what is the new transaction, what mean by in progress. So you'll be aware about all the status of the queue. Let me wait for some time so to get loaded. Yep, it loaded. So just click on the queue. I guess you might be already created a queue, right? So for dispatches, so which you have previously we have prepared, so which is ACME queues, correct? Okay, perfect. Let me copy this ACME queues. Go here, go to the Excel file, and just replace it. Perfect, right? So what actually we have done? So queue name. So this will be the name will be invoked in the framework, and this is your value. Okay, value. So you can see something called as orchestrator queue name. Correct? Perfect, right? Okay. So you have mentioned those things. Just go here once again. Okay. So once you're done with your configuration, just close this one. Let me jump back to the get transaction data. Okay. When you open the get transaction data, so basically it will be covered with the try catch. Okay, to avoid the exceptions. So that's okay. So you can see something called a check stop signal. Okay. So what actually this check stop signal mean? So once you have published this particular process, if it is running from the orchestrator, if someone has been triggered the stop signal from the orchestrator, so during those time your bot will be knowing that, hey, someone has triggered the stop signal, I have to stop now. So what actually it will do, it will just manually like try to stop this one. But how it will be stopping this thing? So it will mark the transaction item as a nothing. So as we seen already in main, that if there is no transaction item, what it will do, it will automatically it will mark it as no data and it will go to the end state, correct? So that is what they are doing actually. So if someone has to stop this particular execution of the bot, then and there if they are stopping, then the transaction item will be marked as a nothing. Okay. So soon after the particular transaction which the bot has been took, once it is done, so the process will be stopped. So perfect, right? So in this way it has been marked as nothing and the process will be ended. So let us consider if there is no one triggered the stop signal from the orchestrator. Okay, this is a normal scenario. What actually we will be facing, we will be falling on. So here you can see something called as get transaction data workflow, right? So just click on open workflow. So here you can see some annotation, right? So what actually this particular sequence will do? They have just mentioned on those things. Okay, this is a log message to get noted that we are in the get transaction item state. Okay, so till now I didn't made anything. Okay, so this is a predefined template of UiPath. So you can see something called as get transaction item, which is surrounded by the try catch. So what actually this get transaction item is? It is there. So get transaction item will help you to get the transaction item from the queue. Correct. So queue name. So you have to mention your queue name here, right? So instead of how we are doing actually, so we are just referring the key value. Correct. So in config of, so since it is an in config file, in config of orchestrator queue name. Let's wait for some time. My system got loaded, I guess. Yep. Okay. So in config and orchestrator queue name. So orchestrator is queue name, nothing but the name which is in your config file. Correct. So the name. Okay. So orchestrator queue name dot to string. Right. So what actually it will do? So it will indirectly proportional to the value which you are given in the queue value section under the config file. Right. Okay. Perfect. And then so just scroll to the down. So what actually this if condition does? So the out transaction item, which is nothing but the output variable which you are getting from the get transaction item. Here you can see something called as out transaction item. So if the out transaction item is nothing, it's not nothing. Sorry, it's not nothing means if it has some values. Okay, if it has some value, then it will make refresh or like that. It will make the cleanup of these particular variables. Okay, so these are the variables. Supporting variables may be used in the process transactions. Okay, so this out transaction ID may be used as a primary key or like unique values can be used in the process XML. Okay, and then so out transaction field, it's what actually they are making the environment clean for the next transaction item. So if for example the A has been processed now. Okay, so we are entering into the B item. Okay, during this state what actually it was doing, so the out transaction is not nothing, so which means it has a new value which is B. What actually it was doing, it is cleaning up the environment which is used for the A. Okay, this is the main concept and main thing which has been done here. Okay, only these things has been covered in the get transaction part. What actually they are doing, they are just making this particular get transaction item as out. Why out? Why out? Why as a out argument? So as we all know that if you are declaring a variables, it will be used inside the same workflow. If you are going to use the particular values, need to be used in the another workflow. During those time, we can use a out argument right there, right? So what actually they have done that? So we can see something called as result of get transaction item as a out transaction item, which they have marked here as out, right? So why they are marked as out? So they will be using this particular value, the transaction item which they got from the orchestrator queue in the process transaction. Okay, that's why they are marked as a out. Okay, just close this one. Just go here. We can check what are the arguments has been sent out. Okay, so just click here. Okay. Mm, okay. Yeah, my system got loaded now. Yep. So here you can see some of them are marked as in and some of them marked as out. So out transaction item which will be used for a process transaction item. That's why they are marked as an out. Okay, and these are the supporting fields which will be used for the transaction item. So that's why they are also marked as out. So here you can see something called as IO DT transaction data. This particular argument will be used when you are using the when you are not using the queue, and instead of that if you are going to use the data table. Okay, data table which is Excel as an orchestrator. During those time this in DT transaction item will be works. Okay, and then the in transaction number which help you to mark the transaction number what actually you are working on. So 1 2 3 likewise. Perfect, right? So these are the things and the states. the transaction states. So if it has a new transaction, it will be moved to the process transaction. If it has no data, then it will end up with the end process. So these are the entire scenarios how the get transaction will work and what are the states inside the get transaction. So before that, I got so much of queries that stating that, so they want to know how to make a filter in the WID initially itself. So we have discussed on previous video, right? So we can make like instead of uploading all the item into the queue, we can make a pre-requirement that we can apply a condition of WID, and then we can upload those WID5 items only into the queue. So I got so many pings from the, viewers that, so we need that the item which need to be uploaded only WID. So I will just, in next video I will just make a dispatcher only with the WID item uploading into the queue. Okay, so that even they will also get benefited with this thing. So previously we have discussed only using the bulk queue item to push the entire 91 values. What everyone is requesting, they want only the WID5 item need to be pushed into the queue. They want me to make some filters and then want to showcase those things. Yeah, sure, we'll do in next video. We'll help you with the modification of a dispatcher. Will this with this changes? Okay, so I hope you have learned more things from this. Thanks for watching. Happy learning. Have a good day.